Hello, everyone. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic. Welcome to my channel. This is Navigational Astrology, and we are talking about our first new moon of 2023. And truly, this is really kind of like the actual new year. Um, Sometimes we have a lunation that is so clear with its guidance, and this is one of them. I'm calling this the moon of the future now. Let's talk about it. One of the things that is so delicious about this new moon is this shift of the sun from Capricorn into Aquarius. I don't know about you, but Capricorn season, this past one, has been a little bit rough for me and my family. And I am really already feeling the fresh air of Aquarius season. And just a little bit of a treat here. We have been having some of the most incredible sunrises. And in a way, the beauty of a sunrise is kind of a nice metaphor for this new moon because it's a moment in time that inspires us to dream big about what's to come. So this is actually a super moon, a super new moon. So its power is a little bit extra. Uranus will be stationing direct tomorrow. And actually, as you'll see in the chart that I will show you here in a moment, at the time of this new moon, Uranus is, as far as how quickly he's moving, he's technically already stationed. And once Uranus turns direct, we will have 88 days with no retrograde planets until our next Mercury retrograde. So while this may feel really exciting, we just finished a Mercury retrograde cycle. Mars has turned direct. They, of course, are both still in their post-retrograde shadow, but this is a breath of fresh air, but not an immediate one. This is a gradual process. And I just want to put that out there because while, yes, we are planting powerful new seeds of the future right now, and we can expect to feel a little bit better, but don't fall into the trap of thinking that everything is going to magically be completely transformed because that's just not how it works. This new moon is actually about long-term commitments that will change everything. And we need to make those commitments now. Decisions that we make now, commitments that we make. And I'm not just talking about romance. I know that our love lives are important, but really they're not everything. So let's broaden our minds when it comes to what commitment means. What are you committed to spiritually? What are you committed to mentally, emotionally, psychic, intuitively? Let's bring the full holistic picture of our lives when we're talking about what we are going to commit to now to build solid foundations for an incredibly different and transformed future individually. And as we all know, when we transform individually, that's what we have power over, our own transformation. And while we all want to change the world, that's how we do it, by starting at home with ourselves. So let's take a look at this new moon chart. Well, first, we also will be beginning the year of the rabbit on the 22nd. Here is my little household spirit welcoming the year of the rabbit. I'm actually a rabbit. Where are my fellow rabbits out there? This is the year of the water rabbit. So that's a pretty special energy. Okay, here is our Aquarius super new moon chart. This super new moon is happening January 21st, 2023 at 3:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here we have our new moon, our sun moon conjunction at 1 degree and 33 minutes of Aquarius. This new moon is conjunct Pluto, my friends, making this incredibly powerful, transformational thresholds we are walking across right now. Now, one of the things that we do in my private community, the Deep Divers community, is we make altars for the new moons and full moons if you want to. Making an altar for an astrological event, particularly one like this that has such incredible, clear guidance about making changes, planting seeds of transformation and commitment now. When you make an altar, the act of ritual, ritual is something that humans have always done. It's a way that we make the non-physical real, that we put our energy into something that helps direct our focus. And that's really the power of making an altar. So an altar for Aquarius, for an Aquarius new moon, could include something like feathers, birds, things that are like a sky blue or electric blue color, pearls, opals, things that are shimmery. The essential oils or resin / plants, frankincense and spikenard are associated with Aquarius. And those are just some ideas. So as you can see over here in our speed chart, Uranus is still technically retrograde with the minus sign right there, but that S says, that he is basically stationed. He just has not made that final turn. He's like still, or stationary and kind of still looking behind him. And all he has to do is turn his head the other way and we will be stationed direct. Now, there are some really incredible features to this new moon beyond Pluto, which is really, that's enough, isn't it? The other is Saturn and Venus conjunct in Aquarius and Juno and Jupiter conjunct. Both of these situations are about commitment and long-term commitment. Now, I made a video about Juno, the asteroid Juno. I'll put a link in the description box below. Juno is often considered the asteroid of marriage, but she's much more than that. She's about commitment and all of our commitments. And Juno and Jupiter are a divine pair. This is Zeus and Hera. Now, Zeus and Hera mythologically didn't have a fairy book romance, except for in the beginning they did. They was very passionate and romantic in the beginning. But Juno, in this relationship with Jupiter, or Hera in this relationship with Zeus, she struggled a lot. And through all of her struggles, though, she stayed committed. Now, through that commitment, we learn a lot from her. But in this regard, it's about that staying power. Now, with Venus and Saturn, clearly, we can't have anything that lasts without Saturn. Saturn is actually, he's our friend. He teaches us about dignity and responsibility and sticking things out, and especially the sacred passage of time. He wants us to understand that when we plant a seed, the harvest that we reap later depends on how we cultivate it, what we do in that time, in that sacred expanse of cultivation, of germination, of incubation, of gestation. Waiting is hard, isn't it? And a lot of times, I mean, I'm certainly guilty of having shiny object syndrome. And, as my teacher recently told me, they said, you're lost in the woods. And I can get lost in the woods of my mind. And really, Saturn is an energy that can help ground us. He's very rooted, very rooted. And with Venus in conjunction with Saturn, I mean, Venus is not just love. This is our money, our value systems, our self-trust, and predominantly our self-worth. We can't do anything worth anything without grounded and rooted self-worth. So truly, the things that we decide right now, the commitments that we make, the transformational seeds that we plant, my friends, this is the doorway of an entire new life. What do you want? What would you do if you had no limitations? And can you break that down into steps like covering the seed with soil? Then we water it. Then when it sprouts, maybe we make sure it has enough soil around it that the roots aren't exposed. We give it some fertilizer. We protect it from the birds and the elements and things that want to come and, kill it, destroy it. What steps do we make every day to grow our new dream? What is your new dream? Tell me in the comments. I would love to hear about this. Now, one of the things that I want to be sure to mention, as we are dreaming our future now and planting the seeds of our future now, I want you to think back a few months, specifically to around the time of Samhain, end of October. From then until now, what relationships have entered your life and have become trusted, supportive friend and ally? And when I say relationships, I don't mean just humans. And actually, I kind of barely mean humans. What I really mean is all of the other relationships that we have. I recently heard a quote from someone, and I wish I could remember who said this so that I could credit them. But the quote is, "The world is full of people, and only some of them are humans." And that is true. So in these past months, what plants, what minerals, crystals, what ancestors, what myths, what deities, gods, goddesses, what landscapes, rivers, mountains, what essences, what storylines, what visions, and, of course, what people too. But let's not limit this just to human people. This tree outside my office window is a birch tree. And this tree is one of my dear friends. She's incredible. I go out and sing to her. She has this really cool kind of cavern in her trunk where water collects. And so I sit on my porch and I watch the birds come and drink from her. I watch the squirrels come and store their stuff in her crevices, and then I watch the birds come and steal it. And she's like an outdoor television in a way. There's this relationship that I have with her, and part of my relationship involves observing the relationship she has with other beings. And that's just one example. These mountains in my um, sunrise photographs. These mountains are my friends. We have a relationship. They support me. And I don't know that I could do, I don't know if I could ever possibly give them back as much as they give me. And so as we cross this threshold into a new life that we are making on purpose, we have gathered all of these allies, and they form circles around us of support, love, guidance. So take a moment and recognize them. Add something that represents them to your new moon altar if you do that. Or tell me about your allies in the comments. I tell you, for me, just for example, some of my allies and friends that have really stepped forward through these months since Samhain are the bear mother, the rabbit, jackalope, the stag, tobacco, bee, copal, and some very special ancestors that have been not at all subtle in coming forward to allow me to know them. And so the gratitude of not being alone, of having all of this support, of having more than just humans at your back. This is how we go forward, by recognizing how we walk beyond just what we see with our eyes. Now, this new moon is conjunct several fixed stars, but I'm only going to talk about one of them because it is an exact conjunction by 1 minute. So it's really, really super, I mean, very, very tight conjunction. And that is the fixed star Albireo. Now, this star is in the constellation of Cygnus, the swan, the royal swan. And this star actually has a golden and a sapphire shimmery quality to it, if you can find it in the sky. And it has been called by some the most lovely color effect in the heavens. And this is connected to the Greek goddess Iris, who was a messenger between heaven and earth, and she traveled by rainbow and was associated with this sort of colorful iridescence. And I really like that metaphor of what we're doing with this new moon, of, we're beginning on one side of the rainbow and our goals are on the other side, and we're gonna enjoy the journey because we're walking through an iridescent rainbow. I mean, who doesn't like that? But it is a journey, and it's a beautiful one. Now, Cygnus is a really special constellation. There's a book called The Cygnus Mystery by author Andrew Collins that I really highly recommend if you're nerdy about like ancient history and things like that. The stars in this constellation have been, speaking of allies, the stars, the planets, the asteroids, they are our allies too. So let's not forget them as we are thinking about the beings, the friends that have stepped forward to support us. Cygnus perhaps is stepping forward for you. Cygnus also teaches us to remember our royalty. And by royalty, I don't mean actual, legit kings and queens royalty. I mean the dignity of who we are. And a good way, a very practical way that Cygnus can step into our lives is to make sure that every now and then we do something really luxurious for ourselves. And that can be as simple as extra whipped cream on our latte, or buying ourselves an article of clothing made of a luxurious material that we love, just whatever makes you feel really delicious and luscious and special. Cygnus, as an ally, reminds us to do that from time to time. And that can really help enjoy the journey across the rainbow, across this threshold from the seeds that we plant now to the completely transformed future we are moving towards, that is supported and built by these very real agreements, contracts, commitments, and changes that we are making right now. So happy New Year. I mean, really, this is the new year. Happy new moon. I wish you every good thing under the sun. May you know peace. May you know your worth, and may you plant seeds that will sustain you for the rest of your life. And may you do that now. Planting the seeds of the future now. Much love. I will see you very soon.